Hey YouTube, 3D Printed Life here with an Eclips3D update. I just finished, I finished last night installing the new XY gantry, and today I'm doing some test prints and getting everything dialed in. But I was noticing some really terrible print quality. This is the best example. I just did this not too long ago, and I mean, it's decent. This is because it was just too hot. It doesn't have a fan to cool it yet. But, I mean, the print quality wasn't anything fantastic. Looking from this angle, you can see quite a lot of issues. Then I realized the problem. Over here, I had never really tightened down that pulley, so it had a good, like, eighth of a turn of play back and forth, so whenever it would change directions, it would slip most of the time. Sometimes it wouldn't slip, which made it even worse, and just, it was bad. But, fixed that, tightened both of them down, so they're all good. So now everything should be tightened down and good to go. And, I mean, let me just sneak you in here, hopefully I don't break my camera. Hard to tell for you guys, but the quality is out of this world so far. This is a 0.12 millimeter layer. And, so far from what I can see, I'm actually, like, speechless. This is what I wanted the Eclips3D to be from the beginning, so I'm really, really happy. I'm not going to speak too soon, because I want to let the whole print finish, but right now, just looking at these first couple dozen layers, it's looking like it's going to beat the Ultimaker, beat the Maker Gear, beat all of those combined. But you didn't hear that because we're gonna wait till it finishes its thing. But additionally, it is still just as quiet. You'll notice there's a little bit of a rattle when it shakes. But that is just this fan. The new design uses the original E3D fan. You can't really see in there, but it's the normal fan that mounts right to the hot end. There's just a big cutout underneath this guy. So that is a little loose just from me taking it on and off so many times. So if I hold it still, it is just as quiet as it was before. So still going to be one of the quietest printers on the market. But now because of this whole new setup, it should be one of the fastest, and it should be one of the highest quality printers. Getting some more layers in. I would zoom. I will try to zoom, but it's not going to focus. Yeah, whatever. So yeah. So super happy, gonna let it run through. But let me just go over some of the main changes that I did. So first I did a while back on this new, I'll call this prototype 2.0, the actual aluminum shaft mounts. These were awesome, and they really, really reduced the wobble of the Z-axis. Second thing, I did get a new Z-axis from a new manufacturer. I mentioned that in a previous video. Tim from Vert CNC, and that's awesome. Put that in, and that's perfect. So now it has the taps and everything. So as you can see, it looks much cleaner. The bolts all go in from the bottom, and they pretty much all just come flush to the surface here, and the holes are tapped. So that's just how it looks. It's pretty sweet. The build tack I did a while ago, so I'm thinking that build tack's gonna be permanent, because so far it's been nothing but a dream to print on. I know some people did mention that not TPU plastic, PEI plastic would be better. The problem with that is that I would have to manually cut each piece, because I couldn't find a cheap enough manufacturer that sells the pieces in 8x8 inches. Then you have to buy adhesive backing for each one and stick them on. And it is supposed to be heat resistant, but from what I've seen, the melting point of it only goes as high as about 200 degrees Celsius, which means if you accidentally ram the hot end into the bed and leave it for more than a few seconds, it might melt a hole, and then you have to replace the whole thing or just avoid that area. So this way, with the build tack, I can get these sheets really cheap. I'll probably include one pre-installed and then one extra one for each printer. And they last long enough. I mean, I've been printing on only the center so far. Probably around 20 hours of printing, so not too much yet, but I'm still not noticing any issues with it, so we'll see how it holds up. But the main new part of this 2.0 is the X and Y gantry. So this Y gantry now has an aluminum plate, 1/8 inch, machined, with taps, which is awesome. I love taps. My new favorite thing. So we have these pulleys that are now on the outside as opposed to being on the inside. And these pulleys are also new. They are now 65 flanged bearings, which are impossibly hard to find, but I can find them. And you can find them from the same place you have to order other parts for this printer. So if you're building this on your own, don't worry. You can get them. Not too difficultly. So there's bushings that are mounted here, which they seem to be holding up nice and strong, so that seems good. Rod mounts up here, which seem good, although I might be doing a little bit to simplify this design. Right now it's two pieces that are sandwiched together. I'll look at making it one piece that has a split in the middle so that it just kind of can bend a little and grab it, just to make things easier. And this back rod is actually adjustable back and forth by 1mm to account for any discrepancies in this piece. So that's it with that guy. This piece is new. It no longer has that ducting built in. It just has a big cutout in the bottom for the E3D and the original E3D fan. The extruder is new, and it's awesome how rigid it is. There is now a plate built into this piece, which the motor bolts to, and then the extruder's on the other side, so that makes it more rigid. Plus, there's another bolt here on top to bolt down the front side of the extruder, so that's even more rigid. So I can't show you now, obviously, because it's printing, but if you stop it and you try to wiggle the extruder, it barely moves at all, which is awesome, which means this printer is going to give nice sharp corners even at high speeds. And also the rocking back and forth of this guy is pretty much non-existent now thanks to this aluminum plate, whereas before that was plastic and had some flex to it. And the final thing, I rearranged these guys back here to make this more compact. As you can see, it's pretty much all hidden in this corner, which is nice. One pulley works to mount the plate. It's in the same place as the plate the old bolt used to be, and the other one's just in there a little bit. But because that these are flipped, I used to have this one in front up here. Now the belts cross over here, which meant I had to raise up this guy another 3mm. So they are now 7mm apart, I believe, or 8, I forget totally. But whatever, doesn't matter, it works great. So this one just had to be lowered a little more. Same with this guy, had to be lowered a little bit more just to account for that change. But I'm not noticing any negative effects, and as you can see, the print quality is stunning. Absolutely stunning. I'm going to keep going, keep doing test prints. But, I mean, it's done a lot more printing since I mentioned at the beginning, and it still looks friggin' amazing, so I'm pretty happy right now, if you couldn't tell. So, stay tuned for more updates. I will definitely be doing a lot more updates as this thing comes together. What it seems to me at this time is that I really just have to modify this block a little bit so that I can get a fan in there to cool the prints. I have to move these. These are cool, actually, these little belt mounts. I don't have any extras to show you how they work, but basically there's just a groove in the back, and then there's a cut, so you loop it through this, you loop the belt through this plastic piece and clamp it down, and it holds it nice and sturdy, so no more need for bolts to hold the loop. Now the plastic piece holds the loop. So I thought that was a pretty cool little design of mine. I gotta move those in a little though, so it can clear these pulleys at the end, and you get the full X travel then. And I might be doing a little bit changing around the extruder, probably not too much because it seems pretty good the way it is. I will be trying Bowden definitely once I get this whole thing dialed in, and then after that it's really just making this whole thing prettier, easier to assemble, optimizing parts, minimizing printing time for the parts required in this, you know, usual stuff, getting the end stops all working, and then it's really good to go for production. So at this point, what I'm going to plan on doing is getting those alpha kits together and getting those out, and probably around the same time as shipping those out, I will be starting the Kickstarter campaign, and then hopefully by the time the Kickstarter campaign ends, I'll get plenty of feedback from those alpha guys, make any changes if needed, and then start with full-on production. The cost is still looking at about $800 for the full assembled printer, which will most likely be included, or sorry, it will include a heated bed, or at least the Mark III heated bed. It might not be wired up, it might be an extra like 20 or 30 bucks to have it all wired up, just because I want to have insulation on the bottom, and then heavy gauge wire, possibly relay, not sure. Yeah, so really exciting, lots of progress being made, and the next week or so is going to have a ton of changes as everything sort of gets settled into place, neatened up. I'm gonna finally get some actual wire management, some cable strain relief points, so that this wire isn't flopping around. All the good stuff will be coming out soon. So thank you all for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys later.